All right, guys, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the U.S. soccer revenue split, which is a pretty big story right now. Obviously, the U.S. goes out in the round of 16 after losing to Belgium 4-1. And they're paid out $16 million from FIFA. And the interesting thing about this is after the federation takes its 20%, they're left with $12.8 million. Now, normally that money would go directly to the men's players. And we know here, guys, that the men's soccer players here in the U.S., they're not making money like NFL players or NBA players. So that would come out to $492,000 a player. So I think that's probably a huge help to these guys who don't earn significantly. Obviously, you have your Pulisic's, your Weston McKennies, your Serginho Dests, your Fowler and Balligans, who make a lot of money playing overseas. But some of these guys who are playing in MLS, man, $492,000 is a nice bunch of shekels to these guys, right? Well, under the U.S. Soccer's equal revenue sharing agreement, now they're required to split that money 50-50 with the U.S. women's team. So now 12.8 turns into 6.4 and goes down from $492 a person to $246,000 a person. Now, guys, I mean, we live in a capitalistic society, and I think all of us agree that it is the best economic system, right? Obviously, people have a problem with it. There's some people who have a problem with it, but it's the best way so far. I think the misconception is that often we believe, like, the women shouldn't get paid. And I don't think it could be further from the truth, man. I feel like if the women find their Caitlin Clark, if they start selling out tickets by the millions for these World Cups, and they start getting hundreds of millions of people to watch this thing around the world, I'm very comfortable with the women out-earning the men. I just think you should get what you're worth. I got Malik and Julius here with me. Malik, man, talk to me about what you're feeling after hearing that story. They go from 12.8 down to 6.4, 492 to 246. We fair, foul? What do we think?
I mean, based off how the U.S. men's team played this final match and how they kind of disappointed everybody and made it to the round of 16 again and can't make it beyond that, I'm not mad at that. Because the women's national team, they actually win. They actually make it far. They do what they're expected to do every time.
Yeah,
and
I was actually going to say the same thing.
Just for that, like, they're carrying the United States soccer program as it is. And I know it's unfortunate that we don't have the best athletes playing men's soccer, but we have the best athletes playing women's soccer. And you see the results that you get with that, and they come and they prove themselves every time. I mean, round of 16 last in 2023, last World Cup, that was probably their worst performance out of all the other World Cups. But it's in the United States, round of 16 is our best. That's the best we can do. And then 2019, we were the champions. 2015, champions. 2011, runners-up. It's like we gotta feed them too. We gotta keep them winning. We gotta feed the golden goose because they're the ones that's keeping United States soccer alive. So I'm not mad at that.
So I would ask you this then. At the end of the day, though, isn't earning the most money kind of like, if it is a business, right? You guys don't play pro sports to do it for fun, right? What would you say to the point that the U.S. women's national team lost to a 15-year-old boys team in Texas, a high school team, right? So yes, they are winning at the highest level, taking home World Cups. But do we value it the same as we may value the men's World Cup, where granted they don't finish quite as high, they are out-earning them on almost a 4-1 margin? Julius, what do you think, bro?
I mean, either way, you got to go against the competition that's in front of you, and they're obviously succeeding at that. So I think you got to pay them. They're winning at what you put in front of them, so they deserve it. I mean, of course, you can't compare the men's and women's because you're dealing with different athletes, but if they're succeeding, you got to reward them.
And we don't feel like at the end of I feel like in the society we live in, this like we said, a capitalistic society, it's the one that gives the most people the opportunity to turn their lives from rags to riches. We've seen it a million times. Now, does it hinder some people who may be born in tougher circumstances? Of course it does, but there's no perfect system. And I think this is far and away the best one we have. I just feel like if you're let's put it this way. Let's take it to entertainment, okay? Let's say the best actor in the world we've never heard of. There's a guy who can out-act Denzel Washington, but he's doing it on like an off-Broadway play. Does he deserve more money because he's a better actor? or he's having, his play is or does Denzel, who's obviously earning more money, deserve? Maybe Denzel's a tough one because he's such a great actor, but I'm saying, like, if you do the same job but at a lesser value, or you're earning less, isn't that usually the benchmark? It's what you can bring in, man. It's a matter of, we've looked at this a lot of times with women's sports, and again, I think the common misconception is they look at guys like myself who believe that anybody should earn what they're worth. I don't think we can cap anybody. Yeah. I don't think it's a fair thing. I don't think it's the way it should be. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. If the U.S. women in 28 go out there and they win by $1 million and they out-earn, they win the hearts of the country. They've done it before, and they out-earn the men. They sell more tickets. Like we saw with Caitlin Clark in the NCAA tournament, man, that chick draws eyes. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And everybody gets paid as a result of that. We weren't on the air complaining that, now I think that's kind of how I feel. You guys don't feel that way, huh?
I mean, you do have to factor in the actual revenue that they're bringing in. I think that's obviously going to be a factor. The only difference is when it comes to like the Olympics, I think it's a little bit different because you're fighting for your country, I guess. So whatever. I mean, either way, the NCAA, not NCAA, but the federation is going to take their 20% and they're going to split up whatever is made from the entire thing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if you go down to just a local team like representing a state, then yeah, when you deal with just a regular league, you have to go by what they're earning. You can't pay them more because it's just not going to make sense as far as business.
I feel like that's the only thing you can go by, right? Yeah. Like you can't draw blood from a stone, man. You can't pay these people more money that doesn't exist, right? I think that's really, at the end of the day, that's how we are as a society. That's how we are as a country. It has to come down to that. And that's it. And that's what I think makes it a beautiful system, right? It's not taking other things into account. It's simply taking in, like, you are the most. And success is predicated on how much money you earn. We look at it in every field, right? In sports, we look at it in sports media. Stephen A. Smith, he's the most successful. Why? Because his contract is the highest, right? He's the best. We look at it on the field. The guys who make the biggest impact on field are the guys who get paid the most. They generally coincide with one another. The best usually gets paid the most. This is an interesting situation, but I think at the end of the day, it's hard, man. We saw at the last World Cup, there's a great clip from Will Cain. And Will Cain talks about how the men draw from a pool of X amount of billion, while the women draw from a pool of 131 million. Yeah. And the women get paid 20% of what FIFA makes, while the men get 7% of what FIFA makes.
Really?
Right? So it's not always equality based upon, it's. I think that's an issue for a lot of these things that we deal with today societally. It's that people say they want fair treatment, but they deem fair treatment kind of odd. I mean, we can get into it with a bunch of things, but it's a weird society we live in. So you guys basically feel like this is just a just practice. You think that the women who were home, who were watching and supporting, deserve the same as the men who were out on the field. And now, let's just say the men went further, because Malik, the way you said it was, because of the way they played, they sort of got routed at the end and tossed out like some jokers. You feel like if they would have shown up and beat Belgium and got to the round of 8, played a great game against an Argentina or a Spain, and they went out with some, on their shields, do you feel different? You feel like it's a matter of the performance, or do you feel like that's just the way it should be?
Ultimately, I do believe in the whole like marketability aspect of it. Like if you're bringing in more money from revenue and eyeballs, I mean, you can't deny that. But at the same time, it's like as a representation of the country and the United States Soccer Federation or United States soccer team, men's and women's, I feel like you have to earn your keep with as well, because you're representing the United States when you do that. And one side represents the United States well, one side doesn't represent the United States that well. So that's where I'm looking at it from.
I guess I feel like I almost wish that system was instituted everywhere, because think about here at VT. Like imagine we all got what PBD podcast got because we're all under the same banner. That'd be amazing, right? But I feel like if you take those same rules and apply them to what we do here, it almost sounds a little silly. And that's not to call what you guys are saying silly, but could you imagine if we took those same rules and implemented them here? Like our podcast just got monetized recently. Patrick's been doing this for 7 years and absolutely killing people. We deserve a piece of that. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's an interesting thought process. You guys want to wrap it up with anything? Any final thoughts, Jules, Malik?
No, I think I'm good with that. You got anything, Malik?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you at all. That's just my point of view on it. I was just very disappointed in the United States men's soccer team. So
I think we're
feel.
talking about two different things. I think all of us were incredibly disappointed with the U.S. soccer, especially the way it went out. They went out looking, I mean, I don't want to say like but the goals that they gave up, they just seemed so avoidable.
Yeah,
right?
it seemed like towards the end of the game, they knew they were going to lose, and they probably just went out the window.
Yeah, and that part sucks because you want to see them fighting till the very end. But it was like simple things because it's interesting because, and this is something we could probably get into in a different clip, but it feels like they're so far after that game, right? We thought coming into that match, maybe we're making some real progress. And after the match, it feels like, man, they're so far. Now that we're a couple of days removed, I've gone back and watched it, and I thought, goalie doesn't make a bad play. That's one goal. Obviously, they're playing harder at the end. Maybe they don't concede that last goal, and it's a 2-1 match. So it's interesting, man. Guys, thank you so much for checking in. Guys, drop some comments on the bottom. Let us know what you guys think about this. It's been a pretty hot topic for a long time now, and we'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you.